Are you spending hours and hours of practicing and not improving your lap times? This probably means that you're not practicing effectively. Today, I'm going to show you how you can practice effectively and improve your lap times in ACC. No, I didn't copy Jardier's latest video, just great minds think alike, and he ended up releasing the same video that I was planning to make. So let's jump straight into the video after the intro. First thing is your game mode. I wouldn't suggest just practicing in hot lap. Hot lap is more like qualifying practice, where you're absolutely sending it to get that one perfect lap. Instead, I would suggest trying to practice in different game modes. For example, try practicing the hot stint game mode to improve your consistency. Why not try practicing an offline race to try and practice where you can and can't overtake on different tracks? And then you can use the practice game mode to practice anything you need. Another thing to try and practice is different weather modes. For example, you could practice optimum conditions on a dry track, or you could change the grip level to fast to try and practice what you're likely to encounter in an online server. You could also practice wet conditions as well. When practicing offline, ACC has a bunch of presets for practicing different weather conditions, as you can see here, and you can also do it custom as well. Practice makes perfect. Now, although this is true, we need to make the best use of our time and practice effectively. How? Well, don't just sit for hours and hours doing the same thing again and again and hope you improve. Now, practicing again and again can help you improve, but it will take a very long time, and also it can actually have a negative effect if you're practicing bad habits, because then you just keep practicing the same bad habits again and again. Instead, try practicing different techniques. For example, if you feel that you're losing a lot of time in the braking zones, why not take a week to focus on trail braking when you do practice sessions? Then the next week you could look at understanding setups, for example, and so on. Try and focus on one thing at a time. If you try and practice too many techniques at once, you'll likely get frustrated because you can't nail all of them at the same time. Have a goal. Why not set yourself a goal? For example, you could set yourself the goal of improving by half a tenth over your personal best. Try and focus on improving your personal best. Don't just look at pro lap times and see how far away you are from them, because pro lap times are very, very quick, and likely you'll just feel frustrated if you just look and see how far away you are from the pro lap times. Instead, keep trying to improve your personal best and then occasionally measure yourself to see how close to the pros you now are. Practice length. Do you find it frustrating after constantly hearing and hitting that restart button? That can be a common problem when practicing. Practicing the same thing for too long can often be very mentally draining. For example, if you're doing a hot lap event, if you're stuck and you're just not improving your lap times and you just keep making mistakes, instead of continuing, why not take a break and come back to it later? This is what I often do if I'm doing a hot lap event. For example, today, I was practicing the BMW M4 at Barcelona. I spent about an hour practicing to try and get a good qualifying lap. And then I took a break for a couple hours, came back, and within a couple of laps I already improved by nearly half a second over my personal best, all from just having a little break and then coming back to it. So I often find practicing for 1 to 2 hours then taking a break works best for me, as it allows your mind to reset, but this is different for everyone. Don't be afraid to crash. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cody, aren't you supposed to be helping me drive better and not crash? Well, yes, but not being afraid to crash is actually remembering that it's a simulator and using it to your advantage. If you crash in real life, then your team or you have to spend a lot of money. But in a simulator, that's not the case. You just press restart. So whilst you're practicing, spend time absolutely sending it and trying to find that limit, not worrying if you make a mistake or go off the track. Then once you've found that limit, try and focus on your consistency. Often if I've got a couple of days to practice for an event, I'll often spend the first day absolutely sending it, not worrying about my lap times or consistency or making mistakes, just finding that limit, then the next day I can focus on staying on the limit and being consistent. Track guides. Track guides on YouTube are a fantastic way to learn the track. It allows you to check you're using the right braking zones, using the right racing lines, etc. It also reduces a lot of the guessing work and the amount of time it takes to learn a new track or car. Do keep in mind that the lines and the braking points that you see in some track guides may be different from what you're able to do depending on what car or setup you're using. For example, if you watch a track guide of someone using a Bentley at Imola and you're in the McLaren, you likely won't be able to take the same racing lines as them because the McLaren can't take the same amount of curbs as the Bentley. Compare. Have a look at other drivers and what they're doing by either spectating them if they're in the same lobby as you, or why not have a look at some other YouTubers who are using the same car as you. It's a great way to see what they're doing and then compare yourself to them and see what sort of mistakes you're doing and try and copy what they're doing. Feedback. I really benefited from feedback. I would say without the feedback from some other sim racers, I wouldn't be as quick as I am today. Getting tips from other sim racers is a great way to improve, because you might not realise that you're making a simple mistake, but to someone else it might be really obvious a mistake you're making and costing you a lot of lap time. If you know a sim racer is faster than you or more consistent, why not you record a video of one of your laps, then send it to them and ask for some tips. On ACC and other simulators, practicing effectively is very important. So I hope these tips helped you out. If they did, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below if there's any other guides that you would like me to make. Let me know if you would like me to make some ACC track guides. As always, thanks for watching. See you again next time.